What's up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? Welcome back to ArtbyFlan. If you've noticed something's a little bit different about this video, you'd be right, because this is my face. It's a bit chilly in my apartment, so I have my cool poncho on to keep me warm. I can just tuck my hands inside. But yeah, why are you seeing my face this time? Well, I am going to be doing the Starving Artist tag. Nobody tagged me in it per se, but I really wanted to do it because it looked like a lot of fun, and it's an excuse to put my actual face on my YouTube channel. If you've been on my social media, you've seen selfies, or if you've been on my streams, you got to see me there, but not here on my actual YouTube channel. So I have the questions up right here on my cell phone telephone, so let's get started. The first question is, what's your favorite experience as an artist? I've been an artist a long time, and I guess I've had lots of positive experiences. My favorite has to be when my artwork makes somebody happy. When they're excited to see it because it brings some kind of joy to their life, and that's my ultimate end goal, I think, is for my art to make people happy. Or, you know, make them feel something, but mostly happiness. Question number 2, what is my least favorite experience as an artist? Probably art theft. I remember the very first time I experienced that feeling of, I want to call it betrayal, wherein I put my art out there or did art for somebody and they took it and called it their own, benefiting from my work. And it was in middle school. And it was not online, believe it or not. I drew a picture for this guy in my grade. I say my class, but at that point in time we were rotating classes. So I drew a picture for this guy, and he really liked it. He was really happy. He was putting it on his binder and showing it off to everybody, and I was so excited because, you know, he liked my stuff, he liked my work, whatever. And then I caught wind that, oh, hey, by the way, so-and-so who you drew that picture for, yeah, he's saying he drew it. And I got so mad. I was so mad and so hurt that when I saw him again, I asked for it back and ripped it up in front of him. Like, there was no way that was gonna stand. And that sort of soured me as a whole for the whole drawing things for people in, you know, real life. And I'm not afraid to put my artwork online anymore, obviously, but that was sort of my first experience with art theft, and it's probably my least favorite experience. Question number 3, what are my dreams and goals for my art? I think it's just to make a living. Like, growing up, you know, I wanted to be an artist, and that meant, you know, oh, you have to go into animation, or you have to go into comic books, or you have to do something like that for a living. And that's what I thought I was going to do. But then, you know, as you get older and technology evolved, and I found all these other artists who were doing what they do without any of that. I came from a very small town, and art college for me wasn't an option. Not without going into a tremendous amount of debt to be able to afford it. But, you know, growing up, knowing what I know now, I know there are other options to make a living from your artwork, and those are kind of the goals I want to pursue. I want people to like my art, I want people to see my art, and I want to make a living from that. Question number 4, what's your favorite medium and why? Digital. Even when I had abandoned all other forms of drawing, because I had what I call a low period where I didn't draw very much at all, and when I did, it was all digital. Digital is so good for me personally, because I have such a, sorry, that was my phone. I have such an anxiety about wasting supplies or inking a picture by hand or what have you, that digital art gives me the freedom to try all sorts of things and more tools and kind of wash away that anxiety of ruining my sketch. You know what I mean? So that's why I love digital art so much. Not to mention there's an array, there's like no end to the things you can do with digital art. Nobody's digital art looks the same. Of course, nobody's traditional art looks the same either, but I guess what I mean is nobody does digital art the same way. There's, you know, it's so varied, and it's so awesome. I wanted to say variety-ful, but that's not a word. That's not a word, guys. Don't add that to your lexicon. That's not a word. So yeah, digital medium. What inspired you to do art / why do you love it? Well, to be honest, I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. Sailor Moon made me want to be an artist. I wanted and I remember this very clearly as a child, I wanted to make my own characters. And that's why fan art kind of takes a backseat to original work for me. When I started drawing, I wanted to draw the characters I'd made for Sailor Moon. I was a kid, they were awful, they were horrible drawings and horrible characters, but that wasn't the point. The point was, that's why I started drawing. Sailor Moon means a lot to me, both as a show and as an inspiration because of that. So yeah, I really wanted to draw because I wanted to put my characters, bring them to life, essentially, my ideas. And why do I love it? Why do I continue? Well, honestly, there are some days I don't love it. There are some days I hate being an artist because I get so frustrated with my work, and I think we all have those days where that happens, where we just don't want to do art and don't want to be an artist anymore. But I love it because it's part of me, you know? Getting my ideas down on paper, sort of clearing my mind through an image, giving myself something to work on. It's a part of who I am, and another part of me to love. Number 6, what's the favorite piece of art you've ever made, and why is it special? So, my favorite piece is actually, my mother has it. It's not good anymore, but it was amazing at the time. It's of a character who I've since redesigned, but he's an angel boy, and keep in mind, I wasn't particularly religious even as a child, but he's sort of holding this, holding this big cross, and he's this kind of angel boy, and it's on this massive poster board, and it's all shaded in pencil. It's probably one of my favorite pieces, just because, I don't know. It's probably that one, because my mother later then, she loved it so much that she took it and got it mounted and framed, and it was hanging in our living room for the majority of my life. I think I did it like freshman year of high school, so you know it's bad. But she loved it, and it's probably one of my favorite pieces. I'm really happy, with how it came out. It's not great now, because I think, if I remember correctly, he's got arms as long as his entire body, but whatever. If I have a picture of it, I'll put it up. But if I don't, I'm sorry. Next question is, who or what are your biggest art influences? This one is a tough one for me because there are no set things that influence me. Like, that sounds kind of pretentious, I think, but it literally does come from everywhere. It comes from the other artists I follow, it comes from television, it comes from music. Like, influence is literally everywhere. And my initial influencer for art was obviously Sailor Moon and anime in general, and so it sort of shaped my initial style. But nowadays, it's just about everything. Everything can give me influence, and I love that. That's one of the things I love about being an artist, is that anything can spark that initial idea. Number 8, what did you learn from being a full-time artist? Well, if you're talking financially, I'm not a full-time artist. I do have a day job. I work a 9 to 5. It sucks, but what are you gonna do? If you're speaking full-time artist in the figurative sense of you're always an artist whether you're drawing or not, is that it is exhausting. Especially if you're doing it for actual living. It's exhausting. You work yourself and your brain so hard, and you do need to take a break every once in a while. It's okay to not draw, especially if it's just a hobby. If you're doing it full-time for a living, doing commissions, doing YouTube, whatever, then schedule some time to just not do it. Take a break. It'll help your mind, it'll help your motivation, it will just help you all in general. Number 9, what do your friends and family think about you being an artist? My friends and family, I was very lucky because they were all incredibly supportive of me. They're incredibly supportive of me and my talents, and they're great with it. I remember in high school, all of my friends that I surrounded myself with drew in some capacity. We all took art class together. I remember getting art supplies for Christmas from, close family members and extended family members. Like, the first tablet I ever got was a Christmas present from my mother, and it altered my world, for starters. But they've all been incredibly supportive, and I've made some amazing, amazing friends through art. Number 10, was becoming an artist your childhood dream? If not, what is? It was, actually. You have that, before I actually seriously started drawing, you had those phases where, I want to be a singer, I want to be a vet, I want to be whatever, but I wanted to be an artist. All the way up until I graduated high school, I wanted to be an artist, and then the reality of my world at the time came crashing down on me, and I didn't know if I could be. And I mean, it's still a dream, obviously. I still want to do art full time, but after I graduated school and realizing art college is just not a possibility for me at the time, it sort of came crashing down. But always in the back of my mind, working odd jobs, whatever, it was always my dream. It still is. I think it will always, I don't know if I'll ever say I achieved that dream, but it definitely was. Number 11, what advice can you give to people who want to be more artistic or creative? The same advice you're going to hear 48,000 times over. Draw. Just do it. It's going to be bad. You're not going to like it a lot of the time. It's going to be frustrating, but you're not going to get anywhere not doing it. Take the damn plunge. Like, that was me with YouTube. My thought was, well, nobody will watch my videos. Nobody really cares about my process or wants to hear me talk. But by not doing it, I got next to nowhere. By doing it, I've gotten somewhere. Like, did I want to be an overnight sensation and have millions of subscribers and millions of views overnight? Absolutely. But that's not how it works, and just doing it has sort of eased those fears of, I'm going to fail at it. And even if you do fail at it, you still did it. I mean, you still put forth the effort. You're not a failure if you tried. You're a failure if you don't try. So just do it. I mean, you're going to be bad for a while. Everyone is. But there are a plethora of resources out there today. Like, when I was growing up and becoming an artist, the internet was still relatively new. But nowadays, everybody knows how to use it. There's tons of resources everywhere. Absolutely. Just do it. Do it! Thank you, Shia LaBeouf. What were you supported to pursue art as a child? This kind of goes back to the friends and family, and absolutely. My family didn't really have a lot of money growing up, so college was something that, you know, unless you were going, and I grew up in a very small town, not a lot of money in a very small town, so our colleges, our community college, which is what I could afford to go to, didn't have any kind of art degree program, so to speak. So I could go, but I wouldn't get the kind of knowledge and degree that I wanted at the time. So in the meantime, you know, my like I said, my mother and my brother and my friends and my dad, they were all extremely supportive of me being an artist, because they thought, you know, man, she's got this talent, she's got the skill, she's gonna make something of it. Joke's on you, I do YouTube and worked an office job for a living. Take that, family. 13, do you make money off of your art? At this point in time, no. I'm not a big enough YouTube channel to get much in ad revenue. I don't take commissions because I don't have the time. So at the time, no, I don't really make money off my art, unless you count my Redbubble store. Some people have bought some stuff from my Redbubble store, which is really super nice. Thank you very much. And if you want to visit my Redbubble store, there is stuff in the description to take you there. 14, what do you want to improve on / aspire to be with your future art? I want to get better. I think I don't have any specific goals in mind. Maybe that's my problem, but I want to get better. I want to be more dynamic. So now that I've thought about it, I can think of something. I want my poses to be more dynamic. I want to get better with backgrounds. I want to do all sorts of things, but in general, I just want to get better. And that only comes from doing it, practicing, and actually making art that has those things. You know what I mean? Chapter 15. Oh, am I reading a book? Question 15. What feelings do you try to express in your art? Depends on the piece. I really don't have a set tone for my artwork. I know some artists do, but I personally do not. A lot of my work is just varies depending. Like, sometimes, you know, is it a sad piece? Is it a happy piece? But overall, I just want people to enjoy looking at it. I don't want to make something that people don't like looking at, I guess. And even then, I'm sure there's always somebody who wants to look at your stuff. Number 16, what is your favorite thing to paint and why? Well, I don't really paint, like traditionally paint. It's been a while since I've done that, but and it wasn't very good. I'm pretty sure fingers were involved. But what is my favorite thing to draw and why? Probably my OCs. I spend a lot of time in my own head, as it were, and I really enjoy drawing the characters I created. That's, like I said earlier, why I started drawing in the first place, was to bring my ideas to life, and so I spend a lot of time on those, and I enjoy drawing them. Beyond that, I like to draw women. I really enjoy the female figure. It's so much fun. Male figure is just so hard for me. I've never been able to just, like, every time I feel like I've grasped it, it slips through my fingers. It's like, what is male anatomy? Just stop. What is the strangest thing I've painted? Well, I'm gonna change painted to drawn, and that would be Papsanic. I had a stream a couple of weeks ago, and I was just taking free requests because I just wanted to stream and draw and have a good time, and somebody requested a very old Sonic with like a gray hair and a big bushy beard that dragged down to the ground, and I drew it, and we in the stream dubbed him Papsanic. It was great. I love Papsanic. I want him on a shirt. I'm sure Sega would come after me. Number 18, have you ever been hung up after you started a commission, and how did you handle it? I honestly cannot remember the last time I took a commission. I vaguely have feelings of like gifts or art trades or whatever that I owed people, and I've been getting that hung up feeling, but my response was just to push through it. And I know the work I produced was a little less than top quality, but for me at the time, it was, I need to get this finished rather than it needs to be good, which is not a good attitude to have. Quality over quantity in this case. But with something like Inktober, it's quantity over quality. You know what I mean. We're not talking about Inktober. Number 19. Do you admit that paint smells good? I haven't smelled paint in a while. If someone wants to give me a tube, I guess I could. I have these watercolor paints. Does that count for anything? Let's see. We'll see if this smells good. Wait, it's a Little Winsor & Newton palette. If I could open it. Oh no! Smells like paint. That's what we'll go with. It smells super okay. And finally, what would you tell your younger self? Well, first of all, self from 5 minutes ago, don't bust out the paint set and sniff it on camera. But to young Danny, I would say, don't stop. You don't stop. Don't let anybody discourage you. Make your terrible OCs, do coloring book edits, do whatever makes you happy, because in the end, it's just going to help you in the future. Also, brush your teeth, go to bed earlier, and lay off the soda. And that has been the Starving Artist tag. If you like what you see, don't forget to click that like button down below, share the video around. I got all sorts of links for great stuff in the description box below, and if you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button, because then you will get a fancy new video from me every Saturday in your inbox, ready to watch. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.